Mr Chairman, I have only praise for the Minister. Thank you.
I call the honourable member Kennedy Graham.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. In our Foreign Affairs Committee's report, we noted that the new appropriations shows a 20% increase over the previous year. One might think $500 million is not excessive for foreign affairs and trade for a country that is high on the GDP and HDI rankings. Of course, our ODA is down, showing the world how miserly we can be, even in times of austerity. Tough times are when the poor around the world are in the greatest need. Our response is to pull up the drawbridge, export more food to increase income, evince an illusory complacency in our ecological surplus, and cut our aid. Congratulations to the Minister for being his existential self. The Ministry is described as undergoing, quote, the most profound structural, cultural and technological reform in its history. That's one way of putting it. Whatever the change, it's not for the better. Transmogrification for New Zealand Inc. would be more apt. Change with an ideological warp, with no stone left unturned, with special ministerial eccentricity thrown in. The aim, we were told, was for the Ministry to become more flexible, more focused, less expensive. The outcome, we can assume, risks being more craven, more neurotic and less worthy. It appears to be lost on this trader government that governance is a matter of values. It's a matter of values, Mr Chairman, and values come with a price. Yet values, not least in foreign policy, are what count, and the challenge is to ensure that the price is worthwhile. The price tag appears to be all that this Minister values, which makes for a nice, ironic, circular logic. And values have something in turn to do with our international reputation, which has something to do with our bid for the UN Security Council seat. This is likely to come to haunt us in coming years. In assessing whether a UN member state is ready for service on the Council, other countries tend to scrutinise your record. We believe we are among the most enlightened of UN member states. This is because we focus selectively on what we believe we are good at. Others have the temerity to look at the total picture. So curbing our ODA percentage from an already low ranking will cost against us. So will cutting our contribution to the UN demining project. So will withdrawing from UNIDO, whose mission is to assist the 5 billion poor switch to a green economy. So will failing to do our fair share in carbon mitigation. So will telling the Rio +20 conference in June that the switch to a green economy requires a pragmatic approach, not a new paradigm. And above all, so will insisting on wriggle room for the use of one's armed forces. In a major public speech recently, the Minister sternly warned an unsuspecting world that New Zealand would not lay down conditions for its candidacy. We would not attempt to buy a seat on the Council, either by spending taxpayer dollars or changing policy. He need have no fear. Recording 0.26% of our ODA runs no risk whatever of the world suspecting we are bowing our way onto the Council. They will be more inclined to suspect that of our main rival. Spain spends 0.43%. We spend $500 million. Spain spends $6 billion. And there is to be no change of policy. That, of course, begs the question of what the policy is. During that address, extolling our candidacy, the Minister refused to confine future national military action to Security Council authorisation. What an extraordinary situation. In advancing a candidacy for UN Security Council membership, New Zealand will not be bound in its military operations by the UN Charter, which it signed up to. Let there be no misunderstanding here. The Green Party endorses a New Zealand seat on the Council, but this government fails the required test, that of being a responsible global citizen. Recently, I proposed to the Foreign Affairs Committee that it undertake a study on UN reform. It is not too late to adopt a cross-party dialogue about how we might work together, iron out a few differences, and enhance our candidacy together. Thank you.
The question is that vote foreign affairs stand part of the schedule. Those of that opinion will please say aye. Aye. the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Honourable members, the question now is that official development assistance stand part of the schedules. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that sport and recreation stand part of the schedules. Those who have that opinion will please say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that corrections stand part of the schedules. Those of that opinion will please say aye.